In certain extreme situations, the law is inadequate. In order to shame its inadequacy, it is necessary to act outside the law, to pursue natural justice. This is not vengeance. Revenge is not a valid motive, it's an emotional response. No, not vengeance. Punishment.
Tonight we have a chance to say, yeah, you're right. We're too extreme, we're too wild, we're too out of control, we're too full of our own shit. Or we have a chance to say, hey, fuck you, you're wrong. Fuck you, we're right. Because you have all made it to the dance. Because believe me, this is the dance. Start the show.
Hey guys, let this music run for a minute. I just got to update the board. I'm running a little bit behind, and then we'll be right there with Geno and I. Oh, boy. All right. Hello. Welcome. Oh, Geno's camera's on, and Geno's not here yet. There we go. Hey, everybody. Oh, good morning. Sorry, I got going a little later than usual. That's totally on me. Nothing sexy, nothing interesting. Just, I went to bed last night. That was a wild day, man. That was a wild day. 2 crazy-ass shows. That fucking, man. My former friend going viral, and people wanting the details on that, and people wanting the details on things I've said about myself recently. Doing 2 shows worth of that. Just my Twitter notifications and DM inbox just being insane with interview requests and all these other things. I got a notification from Alex Stein via a third party, or I guess Alex was the third party, that the guy suing Nick wants me to do his show. I don't know if that's a good idea. Look, before any of you jump in the chat and tell me how great of a fucking idea it is, and look, there is a misnomer that I'm in this for some kind of scorched earth thing. If I'm in this for anything, it would be, one, that I'm going through a very difficult period in my life. And when I'm going through a difficult period in my life on this show, I like to be honest with the audience, tell them where my head's at, tell them where I'm at, tell them what I'm doing, be as honest as humanly possible. Number 2, that video that came out really I mean, it elicited a lot of emotions out of me. It scared the shit out of me, angered me, kind of made me feel shitty because I want to get people out of that world and I want them to get help because there are people I care about in that situation. Nick and I are both very volatile personalities. We won't work. I get mad. I yell and scream. I don't tell people to, I don't go as crazy as he does, but I can go crazy. It's not a fun part of me. It's a part I'm working on professionally. How to be more patient with people, empathetic listening, shit like that. But that bridge is burned. That's been done. I think that one night that was over for me. But there's still people I'd like to and I hate to say this because I sound arrogant when I say this. I'd like to see people recognize the error of their ways. Because right now, there are people I'd like to see distance themselves from that situation who, honest to God, think it's like I'm the problem. And that's wild. That's the other thing about that video going viral is I went, finally the world gets to see. Like for me, there's so much. Whenever you tell people you think there's a problem, whenever you tell people there's too much of something going on, and they'll come after you. They'll say things to you. They'll say things about you that you just sit there in your head and you're like, that's not true. And that's not what I'm talking about. And you'll go nuts and you'll start to question yourself. Ever since kind of leaving that bubble and seeing these things now come back and some of the texts I would get, I'm not getting texts now, believe me, from that world. It's helped me tremendously. Like even talking to the crazy people who just want me to spill beans and everything, it's helped me immensely to go, I know I'm not crazy. I know there's a problem here. The hardest part is when people refuse to acknowledge it or they refuse that they need any kind of help. And then you have two choices. You can keep pushing. You can take abuse for it. Or you can back off and wash your hands of it. Now, luckily for me, I had 3 children who kind of made that decision easy for me. Like there's only so much you can do. And then when it becomes a situation where you have to decide, I can be around my children and try to be a good example for them. Or I can still hang out with these people. When it literally becomes an either or, it becomes a lot easier. But yeah, there's this idea that, oh my goodness, I don't know what that was. There's this idea that, like this is like, oh, I'm just doing this to shit on people or this and that. No, I'm not. I mean, that video going viral, that is something that if, friend or not, that's something we would have talked about on the show and shit all over that. But really what this all kind of came from was me going, I need to talk about my shit. I need to talk about things that have been going on. I need to talk to my audience about this, so on and so forth. And that's kind of where I've been at, but it has been a wild fucking ride these last few days. And this all started with why was I running a little behind this morning? I fucking hit the old snooze button this morning. I was a sleepy boy. So we've got a great show coming up today. Geno's going to be here. If you haven't been paying attention, it is our last show for the week. Tomorrow, my daughter has her preschool graduation at 10 a.m. I won't be able to do the show. This afternoon, I'm going to be on Misery Loves Company with Kevin Brennan. That's going to be very exciting. I believe Chad Zumach will be on there. So this could be some really interesting streaming stuff. You might want to tune into that one. I believe it's MLC Podcast on YouTube. All right. Yes, he Spill the Beans King. Yeah. It was interesting because Nick had like a 40-minute locals only stream yesterday. And I was reading some of the cliff notes and whatnot, just making sure somebody didn't get a little bucky. And he didn't. He said, what did he say? That I was lying or something? Or somebody asked about me and he said, people get to tell their lies or people can tell their lies. I'm very confident that if you look at how I've been and you look at how he's been, people can see the liar. First of all, I believe I'm the only one who's incriminated myself, which I did first. I think that's important. I don't believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, hold me accountable. I don't believe I've accused anyone of doing anything without involving myself. If it didn't happen with me, I ain't speaking on it, so to speak. But yes. Chris Thompson with $5 says, can't watch Great Day by Lonely Island without thinking about you. I don't know that one. Tabakai says, don't say more unless you're paid or behind your own members only stuff. That's very interesting. Bro, I love anything that generates content, but I think that should wait a bit. Also, you stink, says Nana's Clams. Thank you. I appreciate that. Don't get involved with Monty. He has nothing good for you. Yeah, Alex Stein let me know that that guy wants to talk to me. I don't know if that's a good idea. A lot of these people want blood. Like now I've got this thing where in my DMs it's a battle between Andy Worski and Ethan Ralph. And, you know, Ethan announced that I'm going on his show. And then Andy Worski got in touch with me and said, you got to come on the Keno Casino on Sunday, bro. And, then Ethan Ralph found out about that. He talks about that on the show. And then Ethan's like, he's just trying to get the jump on me. Those guys are shitting on you. They're fucking terrible. They're just trying to bait you in, blah, blah, blah. And I don't know. I don't know if I want to do any of it, really. I don't know. I might not want to do any of it. I might want to just, keep it all on my own program. There's something about controlling how much I divulge that's important to me because I don't want to go crazy. I don't. Somebody sent it in one day. They said it perfectly. They said, Aaron knows that going scorched earth won't be as cathartic as some believe it to be. And it won't. It won't be cathartic because all I'll do is just fucking burn shit down and hurt people. And the whole point of this was not to burn shit down and hurt people. The whole point of this was for me to get some shit off my chest that's been bothering me for the last 6 months or so. And that's kind of where I'm trying to keep it. The problem is Nick did that stream. I got some text messages, not from him. And it did piss me off a little. But as far as him saying, Aaron needs to tell his lies, I should probably get a thank you card for the truths I'm not telling. But that would require some self-awareness and self-reflection. I also heard some of the locals only stream. And unfortunately, it was just more denial. It was just more rationalizing. Unfortunately, it sounded familiar to me. It's not the first time I'd heard that speech. And that's really unfortunate. I took some steps yesterday to I took some, off air, I took some last-ditch effort steps to try and help things. I took some last-ditch effort steps to, number one, absolve myself of guilt. Because believe it or not, I have a lot of guilt over all of this. And number two, maybe save some people. The nice thing is when people hate your fucking guts and they think you're the most evil son of a bitch or the worst person ever, you really have nothing to lose if you still want to help that person. And you can do some things that would probably make them upset in the moment, but they might thank you for later. Kind of one of those not the hero we deserve, but the hero we need kind of thing. Not that it's heroic. It's kind of a last-ditch effort kind of a deal. Aaron, you going to go on the casino this weekend? Probably not. Probably not. And again, I do want this this audience to hold me accountable if I ever cross the lines I say I'm setting up for myself. But yeah, that stream last night was not good. I heard, what was the line? He said, "Oh, I wish I was an alcoholic. It would be easier." I heard shit like that all the time. That rationalizing, that reasoning of, "Oh, I wish it were this. That would be so easy." Yeah, but it is that. And it's not. Here's the problem. He's wrong on both counts. It is true, and it's not easy. And I think that's why he's running away from it. I think deep down he knows it's not easy to address the fact that you have a problem with certain substances. I mean, I know I would be fucking terrified if it were me. It's a scary fucking thing to go through because you have to change your entire life. You have to change everything you do. Your fucking day to day. The thing you've done that in your mind makes you comfortable, you have to stop. You can't do it anymore. That's really fucking hard. Somebody says, "How did you ever meet Nick?" You know, this was really sad. I talked to someone the other day. I talked to someone yesterday. And they said, "How'd you meet Nick and Kayla?" And I said, "Well, I met them in October at the show we were going to do with Chrissy. And then, of course, the tragedy with Chrissy's family happened. That was so sad. And Chrissy booked Nick to do a guest set. Or did I? I can't remember if it was Chrissy or it was me. Could have been either one. And we met them there. And we talked. We hung out after the show. We went to a bar. It was a great time. They came over the next morning. We hung out. We watched a movie, everything else. And then we started hanging out with them after that. April had told people a story that they were her friends, and she introduced them to me. That was remarkably strange to hear. That's some wacky shit. I heard some other stuff that had been said where I mean, it blew my mind, the things that were being said. I'm like, what the fuck? And you just kind of go, okay, well, I guess, here's my thing. In a breakup, everyone gets their truth, as it were. Everyone gets to tell their story. And you can't deny people their story because it's theirs. I mean, that's the thing. A lot of people will accuse, I'm not going to accuse people of lying if they say something about me or anything like that, unless I can demonstrably prove it not true. But if they have an opinion about me or an opinion about how I made them feel or whatever, I can't really call that a lie because they're telling me how they actually feel in the moment about something I did. That feeling is coming from somewhere. I think when we do something to people and we didn't intend it to happen, we accuse them of lying to make ourselves feel better because we don't want to hurt anybody. But the fact is, just because, it's called intent versus impact. Just because you didn't intend for something or someone to feel some way doesn't mean they're not telling the truth when they tell you they feel that way. If that makes any sense. I'm getting gay now. Oh, man. There's this other thing I need to clear up. Tabakai says, I say that relationships started by cheating. April did not break up my home or anything like that. I was divorced for about 3 years when I met April. People have this weird fucking timeline that April came in and I had a wife and I had 3 children and she came in and broke all that up. That I don't know how else I can say this. That's just not true. I met April years after my divorce. That my first divorce ended because of me. I stepped out. I was a naughty boy, but it was not with April. And April, when I met her, was just, did I just fall head over heels for that girl? And stayed that way for a long. I'm going to get emotional if I talk about this. God, did I love that woman? Still care, by the way. God, fucking people change. That goes for me too. This situation has changed me dramatically. The old, I'm not as, what's the saying? I ain't as good as I'm going to get, but I'm better than I used to be. Heartbreaking. This fucking sucks. I don't like losing my partner, but I've gained a lot. It's too far gone to be shot back, but still. Let's go into you guys. We're going to fall way behind. Is Geno here yet? Geno is not here yet. All right. The Smokeout Prod says, question, the conversation where Nick told you to K yourself, did you also imply that you wanted to leave April in this conversation? I guess this is my story. I went to the Ricadas one Friday with the children. This was the time that my oldest told me, she goes, Dad, I don't like going there. And that was the last time we went. And April was there for a little bit. And April was oddly distant from the kids and oddly distant from me. We were opening up, I was having the kids open up their Easter baskets. This was weeks after Easter. They just hadn't had a chance to. And I called April's mother while the kids opened their Easter baskets so they could thank April's mom and dad for the Easter baskets. And April just left the house. She just left the Ricadas' house. And I hung out there with the kids until we had to leave, until the kids wanted to go. And April had somebody let her know that oh God, I gotta really fucking watch it here because I don't want to sling any accusations. She had someone text her when the kids and I left. April didn't spend any time with me, didn't spend any time with the kids. It was fucking weird. I go home with the kids. I go upstairs. Half of my closet is cleaned the fuck out. She dipped. While I was hanging out there, she was at home cleaning out the closet. This was a Friday. And I believe 7 weeks ago tomorrow. And, I'll bring Geno on in a second. And when I got home, and that was awful. Half the closet's cleaned out. Her ring was sitting there in the closet. It was fucking heartbreaking. And I contacted Nick. I contacted Kayla. I said, what the fuck is going on? I sent them pictures. They swore up and down, and I have no proof that they knew, so I don't know. They said, we had no idea she was doing that. I mean, she brought the clothes right to their house afterwards, so I have my suspicion. Man, I have my suspicions about a lot of shit after everything I saw and did and everything else, but that fucking sucked. And that was fucking brutal. And I believe a week later, and I'm almost positive on my timeline here, about a week later was when I sent that text that I won't be coming back. I had a conversation with my kids where my oldest told me, the oldest said, it feels like April's been distant lately, like she doesn't love it, blah, 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 blah. And I was, as soon as my kids told me that, I was like, I can't do this anymore. You know, I can't, I could fight and I did fight for a while to try and keep it, but there was no reciprocation of that energy whatsoever. I mean, horrible shit. And so I told them, I'm not going to be coming back. We gotta call this thing. And that's when I got the horrible text messages and the shitty, K yourself texts and all of that. It was fucking brutal. Fucking brutal. Brutal. Oh, there he is. Let's bring Geno in. Hello, buddy. Ooh, a hat.
Yo, dude.
A hat
what
today.
Is up?
Oh, I don't know. Just continuing the entire fucking internet wants me to say every secret I have, and I don't want to, but I'll talk about as much as I can stream.
I love that stream, dude. Fucking makes my day even easier.
My whole week has just been people. I mean, you wouldn't believe my inbox. You wouldn't believe my DMs. It's just people like, you got to say this. You got to say this. It's really been me wanting to entertain people, me wanting to tell some stories and talk about what I'm going through with my audience like a host does. But then also, kind of letting people know, like, look, this is for me. This ain't for you. Like, I'm not gonna say the things you want me to say. I'm gonna say the things I want to say. But I don't want to upset those people. They have a right to be entertained by whatever they want to be entertained by.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. You have a full slate today. Aren't you doing the MLC podcast today?
We will. You know what we're going to do? We're going to catch up with the YouTube chat. Then we're going to go Rumble only. Then we're going to finish maybe talking about this. And then we're going to talk about, yes, the MLC podcast stuff.
That's fantastic. Wasn't sure if we were doing Rumble only today. I love it.
Should have put an Apple AirTag on her. Oh. At least she didn't pawn the... Oh, see, there's a lot of shit I can't read because people are making accusations.
Well, what else are they gonna do? This is you're the belle of the ball, and by that I mean the toast of the Dabbleverse.
Yes, everybody wants to talk about me. Yeah, and
What'd
you know,
you say? Okay, sorry, baby.
Let's see. I'm just reading some stuff. Los Federales with $2 says you'd be the worst POW. You can't keep info to yourself. These are look. If it doesn't involve me, I ain't saying. That's all. God, that's there. There's things coming in. There's a part of this I'm not saying.
Right.
That involve. Okay, I will admit there's a part of this that involves me that I'm not saying, so I can protect someone else. If I may see that, or if I may say that.
You did.
Yes, if I can. All right. So yes, taking the high road equals beta boy. See, they're trying. This has been the whole week trying to bait me.
They're just so they're waiting for you to say, "Oh yeah," and then just pour shit out. Is that what we're looking for there?
Yeah, they're fishing for some things. They're fishing for some things. And I don't want to give them to them.
Now, how do you think it's gonna go when you get to the old fucking tomato face today? How do you think that's gonna go?
Well, I have an idea. Why don't we bail? Why don't we let YouTube go? Why don't we go to Rumble? And why don't we talk about it? Why don't we?
You know that's my home. You know I fucking promote. It's just Axis Fridays. For all the Rumble cats. I fucking love it.
It's Axis Friday, Thursday this week.
Yes.
Let me put the link to the Rumble in the chat. There we go. There it is for YouTube. And we will talk to you guys later. Geno said, if you're new to this show, Geno says fucking terrible words that'll get us kicked off of YouTube. So we go to Rumble when he's here, and we will talk to you guys later. Head on over there. Throw us a couple of bucks. I'll throw that number up there as well. It is Rumble Link Friday. If you send us $5, play your link. $10, we'll play it right away. Let's talk to you guys in a little bit over on the Rumble and YouTube. Goodbye. There we